Hi everyone, this is Amy from Mimi Stitchery. If you have stumbled along my channel, it is a channel all about cross stitch. I have a little bit of knitting today. I believe, I'm going to look it up, but I believe this is Flosstube number 82. Hold on, I'm going to look it up, but I believe it's Flosstube number 82. I said this is a channel about cross stitch. Today is Wednesday, March 8th. And I'm home today and have time to film a floss tube. I believe it's been about 3 weeks since my last one. I'm looking. It says 2 weeks. So yep, it's floss tube number 82. It's been at least 2 weeks since my last update. I feel like I have a lot to show for just being 2 weeks and for February being a short month. I have a lot on my desk at the moment. Thankfully, you can't see that mess. Let's start off with some stats from February. So I don't count stitches, but I do track my WIP go. I do track what I'm stitching and goals that I set for myself for the month. I had 2 finishes in February, the Raven Needle Book, which I believe I've already showed you, and the Reindeer, which I've already showed you that from Cottage Garden Samplings. I met my goal on my Hue Shift Afghan at 2 squares per week. I will show you that. I started sewing a cross-stitch portfolio case downstairs. I have not finished that yet because I have not had time, and you're going to have to ignore the hair. It's like all over the place today. But anyway. I worked on socks a little bit in February. I've also worked on them again in March. Not getting a whole lot done, but I'll show you those. I met my goal on Flosstube Friends cross stitch, which you will see today, and the next person has called their character. And I stitched on all but, I want to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 days of February, and on those days I didn't stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days I knitted instead. So if my eyes are too tired to stitch, I knit. Right. So that's how February went. I had to carry 1 WIP go from February into March, which I finished that February WIP go very early in March, I believe on the 1st. But other than that, I met all of my WIP go goals. I have some changes to how I'm going to do WIP go, so that we will address during today's plans. But all in all, for February being a short month, I feel like I kind of kicked butt and got a lot done. We are 8 days into March. I have been stitching 1, 2, 3, 4 days. I knitted 2, and 2 days I did not do anything. I have a new start. No more finishes yet. And I'm going to change up WIP go, and we'll talk about that. So I'm going to set my notebook aside. We will do WIPs first, and I'm going to do, and I have a little bit of haul today. Yeah, we'll do WIPs first. I'm going to do them in no particular order. This is, I'm going to do them in the order that I have them stacked up here is how they're going to be done because it's a high stack. First two is Flosstube Friends. I'm doing this with several other floss tubers. The first one to call her character Hannah Dowling from Hannah Dowling spins a wheel. The first one that was able to call her person was Corinne from Grace Notes Fabrics. The next one to call, and that was this one. I finished her in February, so let's show you her right there. And I do believe I already showed this to you, but I might not have. I used pickled beets for the dress, and I used a green accent in the belt that doesn't really show up well on camera, but it does show up well in person. And I think I might use that green for my tie-in. I'm not really sure. Tomorrow has called her person. She's called the 5th lady holding the hoop. So this one right here. And her color is teal. So, I was recently gifted this variegated hand-dyed by Rolanda floss with all different shades of teal in it. And I think I might use that. Let's bring this fabric back. I think that would be nice. So we'll see. But that's my plan with that. That's WIP number 1. I'm gonna set everything aside because then I have to pick up this office because it is a mess. You see box there. It's a mess. Next one I'm going to show you. She was a WIP Go call, I believe. Yep, Queen of Freedom. In February, I have categories, so mine was patriotic or summer. I picked Queen of Freedom to work on by Mirabilia. I forgot to tell you, the Flosstube Friends is being stitched on 40 Count Beach Brew by R&R. This is being stitched on 30 Count Constitution Linen by Primitive Hair. And I just recently ordered, I had never ordered the beads for her, and I recently, when I was stitching on her, felt like I wanted to stitch on her and start beading. Let me get this all. No ironing, so just so you know. So I did order the beads. Those are in now, and I ordered another Krynic that I was missing, and that is in now. And I got her face done. I have dropped down to her dress. So I'm working in between her hair and her dress. I got quite a bit done during her 3 days on the WIP Go board. So I'm going to say something, and a bunch of you are going to go gasp. You're just going to absolutely gasp. So I had started her face, those of you that have been around, 1/1. Decided I didn't want to finish it 1/1. And I also decided I didn't really want to rip out the stitches because this Constitution linen is a little gauzy, if you know what I mean. And I feared that ripping out 1/1, I would either rip a hole in the linen or distort it in some way. So I converted it to 2/2. If you want to know how I did that, if you have a desire to do that to your own, you can contact me and I'd be happy to tell you how I did that. But I ask you, looking at it on camera, can you tell that I converted it? Because I cannot, even up close, tell the difference between my stitches that are 2/2 and the stitches that I converted to 2/2. So, it can be done if you want to do it. See, even up close, I cannot tell by looking at it which ones were originally 1/1 and which ones were originally 2/2. Just telling you, there are ways to get around things if you change your mind. And I really felt like, I was talking to my stitching friends, I felt that my ripping those stitches, I was in real danger of putting a hole in that cloth. And I didn't really want to do that. So, the next WIP I'm going to show you is the next in the series that I'm working on with Gail from Gail's Gold Needle from Cottage Garden Samplings. We had skipped ahead and did the reindeer because we wanted to finish all of our winters while we were in winter. Now we are working on spring. We started with the bear. She is much farther ahead than I am because I was behind on one of my February goals, so I did not stitch on this one as much as I would have liked to on Sunday. This is being stitched on 40 Count Earl Grey from Grace Notes Fabrics. I am in their Fabric of the Month Club. And I have to say, this one is one of my favorites so far. I like all their fabrics. Let me get this. I'm having trouble with hands today. But I have to tell you, I love the Earl Grey color. I love Earl Grey tea too, so it doesn't really shock me. And that's how far I've gotten. This will come back out every Sunday until it is finished. If I feel a push to finish, I may pull it out a day here and there during the week. because now with my adjustment on how I'm dealing with WIPGO, I will have time to do that. That was part of the issue. Sorry, you're going to hear zippers and you're going to hear me putting things away because I would like to pick up this room as soon as I'm done doing this video. It was kind of the driving factor of me doing this video. Next one you're going to see is Bonded by the Rain, Artworks by Leonid Afremov. It is a Heaven and Earth chart. I am stitching this on 25 count, 2/1 tent. This got called on my full coverage WIPGO board for 3 days, which it got. There it is. I don't know. I may have shown this to you in my last video, but I'm not sure. But that's where it got to. See me peeking underneath. Love it. And so, yeah, we'll talk about WIPGO a second. I'm really tossing up ideas right now. But let's see. The next one I'm going to show is a piece that my daughter can't see. So Courtney, if you're watching, you need to look away until I say you can look back. So we're going to give her 2 seconds to look away. I don't think she watches me, but just in case. I am stitching this. I'm not going to describe this for her and her future husband. They are getting married this year in August. I am stitching this on 40 count Navy Bean by Lakeside Linen. And sorry, this is still in the Q-snap and will remain in the Q-snap. I only take them out if I need to show you my progress. And this is where I am. Sorry about the threads. I worked primarily in the lettering and then picked up down in here. I am a little bit behind on my goals on this, but I think this month, because I have the Steel City Sisters retreat, I will be able to catch up. I'm not worried. My goal is to get that done in June, which will give me plenty of time to get it FFO'd. I think this is the final, well, I'm going to show you one more WIP, but that's the new start. Final one I want to show you is Lost No More. This is my oldest WIP and a Gold Collection Dimensions kit. I bought this back in the 90s, and for those of you that are new, I started this back in the 90s when I bought it, and then it went in a bin while I raised some kids, and came out a couple years ago, and I've been slowly kind of pecking away at it. It's getting faster now because I have really kind of honed in on my method to stitching full coverage, whether it be kit or Heaven or Earth or otherwise. So they are way more enjoyable for me. And I did take this fully off the Q-snap to show you. Ready? This is stitched on the kit fabric with the kit floss. And here we are. So mainly worked in his arm here and his hand, his knee, this whole area, and a little bit in that sheep bottom that's right here, sheep butt. He will go back on the Q-snap, and I will continue to work on him. Another reason why I'm changing some plans a little bit. But yes, making good progress on him. I said this last year. I wanted to get him done last year, and I went great guns for a long time, and then just totally stopped working on it. I would love to call him a finish this year. I think he deserves to be a finish this year. I think he's waited long enough, don't you? So this morning, I had a Zoom call with my friend Gail from Gail's Golden Needle. And I had a new start today because today is my birthday. And I do at least one new start for my birthday every year. I am debating a second one. And this morning I told Gail that I thought maybe it would be a Heaven and Earth Design mini. But now I think it may be something else, something I've kitted up. So I haven't decided yet if I'm going to have a second start and what it will be. So we'll see. But we started And a Forest Grew from Rosewood Manor. I am stitching this on 40 count mushroom by XU Designs. And I have threads. So you're going to see threads because counting is a thing. And I started in the center top with that little bird. Can you see him? And then started with the big tree. And that's my plan today, to continue to work on the big tree. And that is my WIPs. I have a little bit of haul. I probably will have a lot more haul next time. But I have a little bit of haul I want to show you, and then I'm going to talk about plans, and we'll show you some knitting at the very end. So those of you that don't want to see the knitting, you can peace out. This was my latest fabric of the month from Grace Notes. I don't know how to pronounce the name of this, so I'm going to show it to you. I get their 36 count. Can you see the name right there? Jaijan? I have no idea. And I am in their, I alternate. So 1 month I get color, 1 month I get neutral. And this is it. I actually really love this. It looks a little brighter in person. That's kind of washed out a little bit. Let's see if I can get in a place where it more accurately. No, I think it's just going to remain a little washed out. But I don't know if you can tell. It's like a purpley gray. Yeah, I like it. I like it. I also was talking to Gail. I like Picture This Plus fabric, but it is super, super soft. I do not like crunchy fabric, but I do like the ones that have a little bit of stiffness to them. Because I feel like they hold up in a Q-snap better, and they also hold up stitching in hand better for me. That's part of the reason why I like Grace Notes. Extra Designs is the same kind of thing. I gotta stop my phone from going off. It has a little bit of stiff to it, which I like. I quite like. So there's that. But that's my fabric of the month from Grace Notes, so I can put that in my fabric stash back here. And I received my quarterly bag from Black Cat Stitchery. This is the back. This is the front. So this quarterly bag came with a pattern that she asked me to design for her that matched the fabric. It came with chocolates in here too, but those are gone already. She sent Floss Buddy. And wait, there's more. There's a tea bag in here, as there are always tea bags in her bags. There are these cute little counting pins. Look at them. So cute. And a needle minder. So if you're interested in her quarterly bag cup, just get in touch with Tiffany at Black Cat Stitchery. I'm not sure if she has any openings in it or not. It is a very good deal. And yeah. This pattern is exclusive to her. Will not release until a year from now in my shop. If I ever get my Etsy shop up, it'll go in there. I do have the inkling to design a couple things. I have lots of ideas. Lots of ideas. We'll see how time goes. As you know, if you've been around here for a while, I'm completing my master's in nursing education. I have one class that actually ends this Friday. My last two classes are going on right now. One of them ends this Friday. So I have a little bit of writing to take care of today and tomorrow to finish that class out. And the other one, I believe, has 6 or 7 weeks left. I think it's 6 weeks left. And I will be done. So I am looking forward to that time when I will have a little bit more time. Okay, plans. So I continue with my hue shift Afghan, which I'll show you shortly. I'm going to do 2 squares a week. Flosstube Friends, we talked about, and a forest grew. I'm going to continue to work on that today and probably tomorrow. I'm going to continue to work on my socks. And my WIP Go calls were, so fall or Halloween. And I decided this time, I know it's not overtly Halloween, but it is close. I pulled out Emily's House by Lindy Stitches. So this will be on my WIP Go for 3 days worth of work. And let me show you that. This is where I'm at. This, I believe, is stitched on 36 count. Hold on. I have it. Let me just look. It's 36 count Ren by Picture This Plus. So this will go back on a frame and get 3 days worth of work. I need to finish filling in that house. Thought I remembered that I'd filled it all in, but maybe not. And the other one that was called is a sampler. So I have chosen the Pandemic Sampler by Sarcy Girl. This was a free chart back when she released it. I'm not sure if it's still free or if she's charging for it now. This is being stitched on, this is also an XJU design. I love XJU Designs fabric, but I don't know that I have the tag anymore. Hold on. Hold on, let me look. It's 36 count, I know that, and it's an XJU design. I have no idea what the colorway is. If I can find it, I will let you guys know next time. Let me put all this back and show you. Let's just show you. And this is where I'm at. That's where I'm at. And that will also get put on a frame and 3 days worth of work. So that's my WIP Go call. Now I had 2 WIP Go boards. I had that one with categories, and then I had another one that was full coverage. And what happened this month, Bonded got called last month and got 3 days, and Lost got called and got 3 days. This month, Bonded got called, and it took both slots, which then prompted me to rethink my full coverage board, because I'm not sure that I want to do Bonded for 6 days again after just giving it 3 days. I would like, not that I don't like working on it, but I would like to give some of my other full coverages, switch it off, and give other full coverages the work. So I'm ditching my full coverage WIP Go board. I'm keeping with the category WIP Go board. And I'm going back to, if you've been around for a while, you know my full coverage. I usually stick to one until I can get about 1,000 stitches, and then I would move to another one. I am going to do that. So Lost is going to continue to be in my rotation because I would really like to get it done. And I think what I'm going to do is maybe switch to the stitching shelf or to the Disney piece and give that 1,000 stitches, and then keep moving through them, and then have the category boards. This also opens up days for me to work on other things, which is what I was afraid was going to happen when I chose to do 2 WIP Go boards, but you never know unless you try. I also have a retreat this month. I have Steel City in Pittsburgh. So I should be able to get some good work done there if I can prep pieces well to go. Oh, I have one more WIP to show you. One more. Are you ready? This was also a WIP Go call for March. It's difficult to show. This is my Mushroom and Fern chatelaine. And what I worked on, let's see if I can get it close enough. I beaded. So I worked on beading. And right now I'm beading with invisible thread. And I'm going to switch out of doing it with invisible thread to doing it with a lightweight sewing thread instead. I find the invisible thread kind of difficult at times to work with, but I almost forgot to show you that. Anyway, getting rid of the full coverage WIP Go board will allow me time to work on other things as I see fit. And since my time's going to start getting freed up here soon, I'm looking forward to that. So if you are only here for the stitching, that is it. See, very quick update. If you're here and want to see the knitting, I'll show you my socks first. This is a bag my cousin Karen made. I'm making a pair of footy socks for one of my daughters, and I've just worked a little bit on the length of the sock. So I get a couple of rows in here and there, but a little bit makes progress, right? My goal is to work on them. That's it. The Hue Shift Afghan. So for those of you, I didn't bring the other section over. This is worked in, this is from Knit Picks. The pattern is by Corinne DeMiller Lawrence. It's called Hue Shift Afghan. You can get it on Knit Picks. They're selling kits still. I just checked the other day because I had to re-download my pattern. The cool thing about Knit Picks is when you buy a pattern, if you create an account, it goes in your pattern library, and then you always have access to it. So if you lose a page or something, you just always have access. But this is the Hue Shift Afghan. I'm doing it in the jewel tones. It is worked in 4 sections, so I've already got one of the sections done. I showed that on my last video, so if you need to see that, go back. And I've got almost one, I have one more square to do to complete the first row of the next section. And so here we are. And so I'm coming right along on that. This has been a whirlwind quick update, but I have a lot to do today and I really wanted to get this room picked up. So thanks for bearing with me. I have some schoolwork to do, and then I'm going to spend the afternoon stitching and then have a birthday dinner with my husband tonight and meet up with my stitchy group on Zoom. So I hope you guys all enjoyed. Take care. Thanks for watching. Thanks for following. I so appreciate it. And I'll talk to you soon.